Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Kathy.
Here we are. Upside down. I can read. Okay, right here on earth, the art of being divinely human. That was submitted by Sandy Malloy, Rev. Sandy. Right here on earth, the art of being divinely human. I'm going to start with a story. So if we can have that next one, please, Linda. Oh, look at that. There was a little girl sitting on her driveway, and she had all kinds of colors of chalk. And she was just drawing profusely, and a woman walking by stopped and said, "Sweetheart, what are you drawing?" The little girl smiled and said, "I'm drawing heaven." And the woman laughed a little bit, but kindly, and she said, "But honey, no one really knows what heaven looks like." And the little girl just kept coloring, unfazed by what the woman said. She goes, "Oh, don't worry, they will in a minute." Heaven is not something far away, is it? It's something we create, we reveal, we express through our presence, innocence, joy, and through imagination, just like that little girl was doing, right? Talk about heaven consciousness. Wow. You know, heaven is not a locality, like at least I grew up thinking it was a place I was going to go to someday, maybe, if I was a good girl, right? Because there was that belief of Santa Claus God, that God was checking the checkbook, right? He had a ledger, and Kathy was bad that day, right? Yep, that never went away. But in unity, I've come to realize that heaven is a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness. It's nothing we have to earn. It is nothing. And I think we have a quote there. There it is, by Emily Cady. That's Lessons in Truth. Emily Cady is one of the forerunners of New Thought. Heaven is not a state, is not a locality, but a state of consciousness. It is the harmony of God realized within us. Realized. I think that is so important. Have we got another one there, Linda? Yeah, from Charles Fillmore. Heaven is everywhere present. Everywhere present. It is the orderly, harmonious, and blissful state of consciousness that we enter into when we become aware of the Christ where? Within. Within. I love it. Say it with some gusto. Yes, within. So, Sandy, we're here to talk about some unity teachings and also about some unity perspectives, and not from the Pollyannish view, right? And I think that's one of the points that you want to get along. I think we have this. Yeah. Let's go to that next one. Linda, I think it's there. We'll use that. If heaven and hell are inner states, then the art of being divinely human is learning how to meet each moment with presence so that heaven can reveal itself through us. Sandy.
I think that's our major point today. So I always like to start in case we get talking and we forget.
Which we might do.
This is it.
Yes.
This is it. The idea that in order to have that heaven with us every single moment, it's not possible without having the presence so that heaven can reveal itself. It's not something that we transform. It's already here. We don't create it. We don't need to do it. We don't need to fix things to get to it. It's already here. And the idea is that we practice presence so it can be revealed through us and to us because we've stepped out of our way. And that is the point of everything that we say today. So just in case you forget, we get sidetracked.
Yes, it really is. So practicing the presence means practicing the awareness of God within, right? That's what she means when she says practicing the presence. And that it is so key. So key. And it's what's the key word? Practice.
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 Practice, practice, practice.
Where are we going to go next, Sandy? I don't know. I'm going to tell you another thing.
You were supposed to ask me a question.
I got lots of questions. How can we practice in this very real world, even when it looks messy? That was putting it kindly. Even when it looks overwhelmingly sad. How do we practice that? And I honestly need to hear that again for myself because I'm practicing it being overly sad right now.
So for me, first of all, it's just realizing that humanness is allowed. It's not only allowed, it's part of it. Remember that Jesus was human, fully human in a human body, having a human experience, and fully God at the same time. And that is what we are supposed to be learning to be. And it's a hard path to follow. He is our way shower, and that he provided a model for us in order to figure that out. So the first thing that I need to do is when I'm hurting and when I'm feeling guilt, when I'm feeling shame, when I can't control the people around me, and I really, really want to, that I can first step back and say, okay, that makes sense. Any human would feel that way. Any human would have those thoughts. And if right now I was listening to me, like I was my own best friend, like say I'm sitting and I'm listening to myself say that, and I am my best friend, I would say, well, sure, of course you would feel that way. Like, let me sit with you in this. Do you want to cry? What do you want to say? And being my own best friend has really helped me a lot with this, and remembering that Jesus was also human and that it's all included is really, really helpful. And it took a while for me to convince myself that it was. I thought that it was okay for everybody else but me. I thought, well, it's okay for everyone else to be human, but it's not okay for me to be human. Like, I have to be perfect, right?
You know, I was just thinking about, because somebody brought that up in Sunday morning class, right? And that Jesus got angry, and I was like, that's true, and that was part of him being human. But the thing that I thought about after I left Sunday morning class today was, I don't remember him ever saying, shame on me. I shouldn't have felt that way. He didn't. Even on the cross, he didn't shame himself for having a human emotion. And that's where I feel like we need to really hear this message, because we shame ourselves because we are human, right?
And then we put ourselves right into that hell consciousness. I'm
Bingo.
listening to you sing, Marcy, and I'm like, that is my story up there. You're just singing the words from my heart. I want to enjoy life. And how many times I've wanted to enjoy life and striving to get that gold star, to be or to arrive there, or to be perfect or to get there. How many times in my life it has been ruined by that gold star that I keep reaching for, instead of just realizing that it's here. All the hours spent away from my family doing work. The hours that I missed with my grandson when he was still itty-bitty, because I was holed up in my room working on a computer. Those things I can't get back. When it's really not that gold star that I'm seeking, the heaven that I'm seeking is the connection. And it's two-sided. It's the connection with my husband and my grandson and the people, my friends and family that I love, is also a connection in me. It's not just a disconnect from my community and my family. It's the disconnect I feel in me when I don't realize and tell myself that I am enough. And we don't hear those things that Jesus did. We don't hear those little words that he said, but he did go apart to himself, and they say that he prayed all the time. And it doesn't ever give us a script of what he said. Wouldn't you have loved to hear what he said while he was in prayer by himself? I bet he really did. But the idea is I know that his humanness was a part of it. And the reason why I know that is because you read in Scripture, and if you go into Apocrypha, or if you're like into the Gnostic Gospels, this is in there much more. So if you're interested in the human side of Jesus, you can look at those texts because it's in there a lot more. The part that really got me was in Lazarus, when he goes to see Lazarus, one of his very best friends. And Lazarus has died, and his sisters had tried to get Jesus there sooner, and he got there too late. Lazarus was already dead. Now Jesus, in the end, if you know the story, resurrects Lazarus and heals him. But before this happens, he sits, and the scripture actually says he weeps. It just, period, he weeps. And we can think about people that we've lost in our lives. And the fact that he knew that he could heal this, but his first thing wasn't to jump and fix it. It wasn't to jump and even know the divinity within it, because the resurrection metaphysically is really just knowing the divinity inherently there and allowing it to come to the light, to the surface. That's what the resurrection is really about. Did he jump to divinity first? No. He jumped to the human side first, and he allowed himself to be human, and he wept for the loss of his best friend. That shows there is power in our humanity. Can you imagine the connection that he felt, weeping alongside of Lazarus' sisters? Have you felt this connection when you're really in a type of mourning with others? That's why we have things like funerals and wakes. Those are moments for us to be able to have empathy and to let the love that is inherently in us come through. And even though we're really, really sad, we can feel very supported and connected. And that is the heaven moment right alongside the sadness. When I could have very well just jumped to recognize, well, I didn't get there on time. I could have saved him, and I didn't get there in time, like thinking of he's Jesus. He didn't jump to that. So it didn't jump to being perfect, didn't jump to trying to transcend it and like, okay, I know that that's not the truth of him. Didn't try to transcend it. Didn't try to destroy those thoughts that he had of being sad. Didn't try to get rid of them. Didn't try to suppress or fix them, but instead recognized and honored that. And that's what we do in ourselves when we take the power of our humanity and allow that to have our heaven moment. We allow it. We recognize it. We honor it. We allow ourselves to be understood by ourselves. And we integrate it.
Oh, allow ourselves to be understood by ourselves. Ooh, that's profound. Thank you. I'm thinking about, many of you know Bob Vogus is dealing with pancreatic cancer, and it's very aggressive. And when I go to visit him, he will talk about to me constantly. He's struggling because of, he's getting weaker and weaker. But he will constantly hold my hands and say, Kathy, it's all about intention. Everything is about intention. And that's where the practice comes in for me. And the practice comes in as I visit him. And to also, same token, is Doc Kemper made her transition this week. And visiting her, and I told Sandy, I said, these visits are sad for me, but they're also, I leave crying, but I'm crying with mixed tears. I'm having joy moments of this wisdom that these people impart on me, and at the same time, I'm sad for myself, my humanness. That's exactly what you're talking about, that it's okay we are both this and we are that. And that's what I've heard you do many talks focusing on this. And it's so important. So important.
Because that connects us, and the connection is what we're really going for in a lot of the cases. To be accepted, to be connected. That next slide says the way Charles Fillmore kind of summed it up, said, man is a threefold being, spirit, soul, and body, and all must be redeemed if the whole man is to be lifted up. Redeemed can be like a loaded word, and some people take it wrong, like it's you need to correct a sin or you need to be perfect something. But really what he was talking about by being redeemed is mean to see the truth in it. Like what we're talking about here, to be redeemed is to see the truth for what it is and not for to see the imperfect as perfect. It wasn't perfect, it was, better. It was the sadness and the joy. We would think that if you're in a moment of sadness, you can't have the joy, but look at the connection, look at the love that can come through our hearts. That's God coming through us in those moments.
That's exactly what I see in both of them as I would visit them, is they've dropped this ego and God is just expressing in and through them as they share these wisdom nuggets. So they're teaching me, Sandy, and I'm forever a student.
And it's hopeful to me because I hear so many of these stories. It's like, well, that's me too, right? That's me too. So it's possible, even though I've gone through my whole life and I feel like, well, I'll never get there. And I mean, you've said this for years and years that we do make it. We do get there. We do get there. Everything has a purpose.
And moments you experience, I hope you hear this. Acknowledge when you experience moments of heaven, consciousness. When you experience that little girl drawing heaven, right? When you experience that, and also allow yourself when you experience this overwhelming sadness or overwhelming anger, as people were talking in the Sunday morning class. Acknowledge that you're angry. I'm angry at the person that cut me off this morning for a moment. I don't stay in that hell consciousness so much anymore. So I don't stay as long, I guess I should say that, right? Because I know now I have the power to move back into heaven again. Does that make sense?
Yes, because if we go to the next slide, I mean, it can't be overly said that the kingdom of God is within. So that means that we carry that around with us, and it's the knowledge that we have that we can have a thought without the thought having us. We can have a feeling without the feeling having us. So it's okay for a thought to come up like, what a jerk. Like, oh, did you see what he just did? He just went through 3 lanes of traffic and went over there. And when I have that judgment that comes up, another thing came up in morning class today, I can have that judgment and not like, oh my gosh, I told myself I wasn't going to do that anymore. Here I am judging again. And I wasn't supposed to do that. I don't have to do that to myself. Instead, I can just say, you know what? That's information. That's a thought. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that. It's a thought that occurred to me, and now I get to choose it. I can choose the hell of going down the rabbit hole and being really, really angry with that thought and allowing it to ruin the next 5 minutes to half of my day and missing all of the heaven moments that we're supposed to be looking for. Or I can choose, that was just a thought. And I can choose to let that go. And I can also choose to let go of the idea that judgment makes me bad because it just makes me human. We are biologically programmed to judge. It is just the way that it happens.
Who grew up here that you weren't enough? Who grew up? I mean, look around, right? If it wasn't your family, it could have been your teachers, in school, who reminded you of you were enough. I'll never forget Michael telling me about how he came up with this green pen theory. And if you've heard this before, hang with me because I think it's really important. Green pen theory meant all the teachers, typically red check mark. This is cross that out with a red pen, And he developed that when it was right, he'd put a green pen smiley face next to it. He didn't mark anything red. And he found out that the kids wanted more smiley faces on the next paper. So the next time, he's doing more smiley faces. They wanted approval. They didn't want to see the red X's, which made them feel bad, right? I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. But I got another green smiley face. I just thought that was so interesting. And we all need this because we didn't grow up. Did you see how many hands went up when I asked that question? So we're not alone here, people. He did accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. I know, music's my thing, sorry.
And so I know this is my message, that spiritually for me, it's being able to hold that thought and hold the humanity of it at the same time. And that is not an easy thing. But for me, it has been a transformative thing. If we could go to the next slide. In Matthew, this seems like a strange thing to have this come through, but this is another one where Jesus showed his emotion. He says, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow. So this is in the Garden of Gethsemane before the crucifixion. He's showing that he's overwhelmed. I mean, Jesus is overwhelmed. And to the point of death. That's how far it is. This is death before they even do anything to him. Have you felt that way before, where you feel so heavy that it feels like it might kill you? That's what he's saying he's feeling right now. And then he says a couple other things, and he ends it, yet not as I will, but as you will. Not thine will, but my will, but thine will. And I've heard this in the past. This has taken me to that hell place. It's taken me to the place of hell because I got a choice in this moment. God's will. What is that about? So I could make that, well, God is trying to teach me a lesson. And what's the lesson I'm supposed to get out of this? That makes me feel kind of like, like, would God really have a lesson for me? I need to suffer for some reason, that God knows what's best for me. And if this suffering is it, then I'll go through it for God.
I grew up with that one, yeah.
Or when you're little, you think maybe it's a punishment. Sometimes even when you get big, even when I got big, I thought, well, maybe I did something metaphysical malpractice. I thought something to bring this on myself. What did I think or do to bring this on myself? Those are hell moments that we can choose. Or it's just my own stupidity. Why did I say that? Why did I think that? Why did I act that way with that person? It's like bad karma. It's all coming to hit me back. Those are all the hell choices. But we can also take the heaven side of it. What does God really mean is God's will? God's will is love. God's will is absolute, unconditional love. And God's will is wholeness and life and expressing more of that through me. So if I'm thinking those hell thoughts, is expressing more of that through me going to happen? Even in case when I think it's the worst. I've had several things happen lately where I just don't think it should be the way that it's supposed to be. One happened in a classroom where I thought that it was just, and I was fighting hard. It was like a tug of war, and I was going to win. It was me against like 25 kids on the other side. I also had the same kind of tug of war with my husband a few weeks ago, where I am tugging because I am right. I know what I'm saying is right. I know I'm right, and he is wrong, and we at least have to meet a middle ground on this. I might be able to give some, but he's at least got to come part of the way. Both of these causing so much anger in me and so much resentment that it was almost starting to eat me, until I just decided that putting the rope down is not giving up.
Bingo, yeah.
I'm choosing love, but I didn't see it that way at first. It took a while to get to the part where I'm choosing love. At first, I'm just going to put down the rope. And then what can I see happen? I'm just going to be the observer, and I'm still angry. I'm still resentful, but now I have peace. Like, there's a calmness. There's a neutrality. I'm not happy that I don't get my way. And then I start to think after about a day of this, it's not about getting my way. It's about getting it. It's about getting it. What is it? That God just wanted me to put down the rope. That's all God ever wants. God just always wants our expression. It's a force. It's a power within us. And that love can't come through until I put my rope down. It's not giving up. It's there. I can pick it up whenever I want it. I can pick it back up. But every day and every moment, I can choose to let it sit there. What can happen? People can heal. In my classroom, I saw the most miraculous thing. This little boy who has a really hard home life. Very, very hard home life. He's got to be the big cool kid on campus. He prances in. He doesn't take a seat. He walks around the whole classroom for the first 15 minutes and cannot sit down and has to talk over me constantly. He comes in one day crying, trying to get people to not see he's crying. And I let that rope down, and the classmates start going to sit by him one by one. He's trying to get up and not be seen. And then they're whispering to him. And somebody put a hand on his shoulder. And then I saw a smile on his face. And allowing them to have that moment, that connection that they made, because the compassion, the love that just automatically arose, could have never happened if I would have stayed in control. And kept pulling on my rope. And guess what? That didn't come through me, but it came through the situation because I let that rope sit there.
It reminds me of that story, Sandy, and I don't know, I think you've told it before, and I don't think I have it with me, but somebody dies and goes to heaven, or they're going to get to see, they're going to get to preview the room for hell and preview the room for heaven. And in the room where hell is, there's this beautiful banquet table, but everybody's starving. And so they get, and it doesn't make sense. He goes to the room for heaven, and everybody, there's the same beautiful banquet, if I got this right. Oh, then the room of hell, what is it that they can't,
They've got their spoons and their forks are so long that they can reach the food, but they can't reach their mouth.
And in the room of heaven, it's the same situation, but they're feeding
each other. Yes.
Dropping the rope did that.
It's the reframing of it. Yes, dropping the rope did that. And that's a hard thing to do. The next slide, Eric Butterworth says it this way. He says, we don't go to heaven, we grow to heaven. We unfold into the divine pattern already within us. It's hard to let the rope down.
Say that one again.
We don't go to heaven, we grow to heaven. We unfold into the divine pattern already within us. It's hard to put down the rope, and we learn to do it, and we learn to let the love come through.
I was thinking a couple weeks ago with my husband. Oh, gosh, he's my greatest teacher, I guess. He keeps trying to show me. Oh, gosh. And it's true. I was like, we're both hard-headed. And so I was not going to drop the rope. You dropped the rope, right? You dropped the rope. Nobody's dropping the rope, so we're in hell for 2 days. And finally, I'm like, I don't like this feeling. Drop it. And then peace came and reconciliation. Then he started to talk.
It's not giving up. Dropping the rope is not giving up. Can we see that next slide? So this is the question, right? What would your life look like if every moment, even the messy ones, were a doorway to a divine presence? Yes, exactly. Somebody got the point of the message.
He got it.
Yes. You passed the test.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
What were you going to end with?
I want to make sure that you guys hear what we're saying, because it is so easy to take this lesson and jump into metaphysical malpractice, which is, I should be in heaven consciousness all the time, right? Wouldn't that be nice? But we're both. We're human and divine. So I want you to, if you do nothing but remember that in that first slide that Sandy showed, we are both divine and we are human. We strive to grow to the divine, but also embrace your humanness.
And the quote was, if heaven and hell are inner states, then the art of being divinely human is learning how to meet each moment with presence so that heaven can reveal itself through us.
As we close, I want you to remember that you are both human and divine. You are the place where heaven meets earth. That's metaphysics. You are at the place where heaven meets earth. Enjoy like that little girl. Enjoy every joy and every tear, every challenge, every step. All of it can become holy when you meet it with presence. When you meet it with that presence within you.
It's in you.
It's
always
in
there.
you.
The compassion, the love is always there.
John 16:23 said, what was it? You will have trials and tribulations, but take heart.
I have overcome the world.
I have overcome the world, meaning the human side of us, right? That's what we're achieving to go towards. You know, Eddie Watkins has this song. Marcy, I almost sent it to you this morning. God is in the place where I show up, has its being in me. God is in the place where I show up, even when it's messy, right, Sandy?
Even when it's messy.
Did you write an affirmation?
I did, and it's next.
Oh, perfect.
So if you'll say this with me, heaven happens through me right where I am. Every moment is holy when I meet it with presence.
Oh, can we say it one more
Yes,
time?
we can say it one more time. Heaven happens through me right where I am. Every moment is holy when I meet it with presence.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Namaste,
Namaste.
Sandy. And namaste to each and every one of you. As Sandy and I both, you got that side?
Yep.
Honor. That presence in me honors that presence in each and every single one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, Sandy.